Welcome to Taming Python tutorial series. In this video, we are going to learn about a very important skill in Python, which is strings. So let's get started with coding. First, I'm going to take a blank folder. I'm going to open it with Visual Studio Code. Now my Visual Studio Code is open. I'm going to create a blank file using this new file button, and I'm going to name it using index.py. Now my new file is ready. String means just a group of characters or letters. It can be something like your name or your school name or something like it. It's just a group of words. Okay, so let's see how to create a string in Python. It's just write a variable and give it a string. That's all. And you can even write multi-line strings using this triple inverted commas. So let's do this. To create a string, I'll just write x equal to. That's all. We have created a string. Let me print it. Print x. I will run my code using this play button. You can see my name is printed. So basically I just created a string and given it to a variable. Very simple, right? Now I will create a multi-line string. I'll just name it y equal to, write 3 inverted commas. Now I have just created a multi-line string and I am printing it. Let me see how it comes. I will just play this. Yeah, you can see this is a multi-line string. This is awesome. So basically using 3 inverted commas, I have created a multi-line string in Python. So that is a simple way how to create strings in Python. The next topic is substituting variables in a string using string format. It's a very simple use case. Basically, you just want to substitute variables in the middle of some static string. For example, here I am writing greetings from, and I want to keep a variable here, welcome to, and here I want to keep a variable. So what I do is I write the string and I will use the variable numbers like 0 and 1, and I will use format, and these variables will be printed here. Let me demonstrate it. I'll just delete the whole thing. I'll write some string equal to greetings from, and I will write the substitution number here 0, and I'll write welcome to, and second variable 1. So now I will format the string using this format, and then I will write my 0. It's for substitution of the 0. I will write this one, and for substitution of 1 I'll write. Now I'll just print it to show you how it comes out. Now I'll save it and I'll run it. You can see you got greetings from Sudhir, welcome to Taming Python. So what happened here was, using this number substitution, I can format the string using this dot format, and I have to just give the strings in the order of these numbers. That's all. I mean, you can just change this. If you write 1 here, 0 here, you'll get greetings from Taming Python, welcome to Sudhir, because 0 was actually Sudhir and 1 is Taming Python. So let me run this. Yeah, you can see greetings from Taming Python, welcome to Sudhir, because here it is 1 and the 1 is Taming Python and 0 is Sudhir. That's how you can use number substitutions for formatting the strings in Python. Now the next topic is substituting in a different way. Instead of using zeros and ones, you can even name the variables here and just give the named arguments to format the string. So let me try to demonstrate it here. I'll just write some string equal to greetings from, and I'll write here the name of the variable. Instead of 1, I will write name string, and here I will write string, and here I will just mention the argument here, name string equal to Sudhir and string equal to Taming Python. Now what is happening here is, I have given a string, and in the substitution I am giving the named variables instead of numbers. So in the format I will just specify what is the value of those named variables. So let me run this. Yeah, I'm getting greetings from Sudhir, welcome to Taming Python. You can also use variables here instead of hard-coded strings. So I'll just write here name equal to Sudhir, and I'll just use this name here, name string equal to name, and I'll run this. We'll get the same thing, greetings from Sudhir, welcome to Taming Python. Here, instead of writing the hard-coded string, I have stored a string in a variable and I've used this here. The next topic is using the functions title, capitalize, lower, upper, swap case functions. These are the utility functions which will be very handy while working with strings. So let me go one by one. Here, if a string is stored in a variable x, if I call lower on it, it will be printed the whole in lowercase. If I use the upper function on a variable x, which is a string, the whole thing will be printed in uppercase. If I use the title function, it will capitalize each word in the total string. Suppose if x is like hello my dear friends, and if I say x dot title, what happens is that each word will be capitalized at the first letter. You can see like this. So this title word is also useful. One more useful function is capitalize. It will capitalize only first letter of the total string. So suppose if x was something like hello my dear friends, it will only capitalize the first letter. And let me explain the next one, which is the swap case function, which actually inverts the case of all the characters in the string. In this example, you can see x is hello with all letters are small but f was capital. Here you can see all letters are capital but f is small. So swap case changes the case of each character in the string. Let us take a demo of each function. Let x equal to, now I will use the lower function, x dot lower. I will store it in a variable called z equal to, and now I will print this, print z. So let me save this and run this. Now you can see all the letters of the x are made into small letters because of the lower function that is called on the string. Okay, lower is done. So let me demonstrate the next function, which is upper. So if I just call x dot upper, then what happens is that all the letters in the string will be uppercase. So let me run this. You can see hello my dear friends, every character is in uppercase, but in the original string you can see f and r in smaller case. So let's go to the next function, which is title. So I'll call x dot title. I'll save this. Now I'll run this. You can see each first letter of each word is only capitalized in the output. You can see hello my dear friends, only the first letter of each word is capitalized because of this title function that is called on this string. Let's see the next function, which is a capitalize function, which will capitalize only first letter of the total string. So I'll call capitalize. I'll save this and I'll run this. Now you can see only the first letter of the whole sentence is capitalized because I have used the capitalized function. Now let's see the next one, which is a swap case function, which swaps the case from upper to lower or lower to upper of each character of the total string. So I'll just write x dot swap case. I'll save it and I'll run it. You can see the case of all the characters is reversed. You can see f and r are only the letters which are in small case. Now here you can see f and r are only the capital letters because the case is swapped of each character in this total string. One more very useful function is the strip function, which will remove spaces at the beginning and end of the string. So you can see the example here. I have kept some spaces at the beginning and the end, and if you call strip, it will be printed correctly. So let me demonstrate this in a Visual Studio Code. I'll just write in the same string, I'll just add some 5-6 spaces at the end and at the beginning. Now I'll just write x dot strip and I'll just save it and run it. You can see the spaces are stripped at the beginning and the end because we call the strip function on the variable x. You can see some more examples. Even if the space is at the end or at the beginning or at end and the beginning, it will get stripped using this strip function. So strip function is a very useful function. Now one more very useful function we are going to learn about is the replace function, which is very simple. You will take a string and you will replace the word with another word. You can see the example here. This is a normal string, just a normal one. Now if you replace normal with great, you will get this is a great string, just a great one. Let me try to demonstrate this. Now I will use x dot replace. I'll replace great with good, and now I will save it using Ctrl S and I will run this. You will see this is a good string, very good, but actually there was great. since I've used replace on this variable, great is replaced with good. So this is a very handy function through which you can replace strings in the original string. One more handy input you can give to replace is you can specify the number of replacements you can perform on this string. In this example, I am replacing normal with great, but I want to replace it only once. So only the first occurrence will be replaced. So the output will be, this is a great string, just a normal one. The normal which occurred the second time was not replaced. So let's take a demo of this. Here I will replace great with good, but I want to replace it only once. So what should the output be is, this is a good string, very great. So let me save this and I'll run this. Now you can see this is a good string, very great. The second time the great was not replaced because I have specified that it should be replaced only once using this third input, which specifies the number of occurrences that are to be replaced. Okay, let's get to know about another useful function, which is a split function. In this function, we can split a string into a list of strings. You can see in this example, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 separated with a comma, and if I call split with comma as an input, I'll get a list of strings which are split from x. So let me demo this thing. Now I'll split x with x dot split. I'll just use a comma. So the input that should be given to the split function is the delimiter, or the string with which you have to split this whole original string. So I've stored it in Z, and now Z should be a list of strings derived from this x. So let me save it and run. You can see Z is a list of strings which are split from the original string x. Now if I have a string which is separated with comma space like this, I can just say split comma space, and now the output should be the same. Yeah. Okay, now let's go through another function, which is a join function. This is something like split, but it is reverse. You can join a list of strings into a single string with a delimiter you specify. Let me take a demo of this one. I'll just use x as a list, and in that list I'll keep. Now I'll join x using a comma like this. I'll just write comma dot join x. So now what should happen is all this list of strings should be joined with a comma, x comma apc comma dhf 7gj. So the whole list of strings are joined with a comma. I can use any character. I will just use something like this, and I'll save it, and now I'll run it. Now you can see these are all joined with this character which I have mentioned here. Okay, let's get to learn another important function, which is a find function, through which you can find the index of the string inside a big string. So in this example, I have written this is a good string inside a variable x. Now I want to find the occurrence of is. So here you can see is at this position 0, 1 and then 2. So starts from the index 2. So the output will be 2 if I call x dot find is. Now if I want to find the occurrence of space is, this starts at the position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now the index at which space is starts is 4. That's why you'll get printed 4. Let's get a demo of this. I'll just write x equal to, I'll write z equal to x dot find is. Now is at the position 2. You can see 0, 1 and starts from the index 2. So now the output should be 2. I'll just play this. Yeah, the result is true. Now if I want to find space is can be found here only, and it starts at the position 4. You can see 0, 1, 2, 3 and it starts from the position 4. So the output should be 4. I'll just run this, and you can see the output is 4. You can mention a second input in the find function, which is the index from where you have to start searching. In this example, I am trying to find is, but I want to search after index 3. I'll just write x dot find is comma 3. That means I have to start searching for is after the third position of the original string. So if you search for is after the third position, that means 1, 2, 3. Now search for is from here. It will be from the 5th position. So now let's try to run this. you can see output is 5 because ease is found at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and E starts from the 5th position, so that's why the output is 5. And one more very useful variant of find is rfind, which finds the character from the behind. Let me try to find from the behind using this rfind, and I'll just try to find E's from the behind. So the first occurrence from the reverse is here only, so I should find index as 5. So let me try to save it and run this. You can see 5 because E's can be found first here if you search from this direction. That's why the index of E's when you do rfind is 5. But if I do index of E's from find, it will be 2 because E's from here if you search, it occurs first here. So that's the difference between find and rfind. Rfind means reverse find. I've written a blog post on how to use strings in the description of this video, so please be sure to check it out. I've also mentioned the skills which are required for understanding the code which we have discussed in this tutorial. Hope you like this video. Thank you for watching.